Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact. Hi, and welcome. And thank you for tuning in and being here with me today. This episode came to me honestly because it's a big intention of my why behind creating this podcast and what I see as a really big benefit to my clients. And so I want to really help people see that the old paradigms and structures are no longer working, and the need to really counter the hustle culture as the way of living, and honestly, that creation of the burnout pandemic that is out there. And according to Forbes, right, I read this statistic that burnout is said to be an international crisis right now. And as someone who is a burnout survivor and thriver, I'm really passionate, right, about helping my clients and humanity experience and receive more peace, happiness, and fulfillment without needing to actually do or achieve more. And let me say, right, there is nothing wrong with the act of doing, of course, right? We need to take action to create our impact and reach our goals. But where it becomes a problem is when we are overdoing and overcommitting at the expense of ourselves, what matters to us, and our own deeper needs. Or when we feel we should have what success looks like on the outside, but when we slow down and are with ourselves, being with ourselves, there's a underlying emptiness or unfulfillment, sadness, or even anxiety within ourselves. Or we are doing things to feel good enough about ourselves, being motivated to do from a place of wounding and not good enough. But we are numbed out or not connected to the underlying feelings and emotions within that are essentially being suppressed in the body and causing physical body challenges or creating dis-ease in the long run. And we often think that when I have this, then I'll be happy, right? I will be happy when I achieve this next level of income or this next level of status, right? Or when my team is big enough to support the marketing or sales part of my business, whatever it is for you, then I will be happy. And I invite you to really feel into the statement, okay? Like experience happiness, peace, and fulfillment without having to do or achieve more. Like notice how your mind responds to this. And notice what your emotions are saying, right? You may find that your mind is, saying, yeah, I want that. That sounds good. But perhaps your emotions are responding with something entirely different. Or perhaps you're noticing, your body is tightening up. There's more sensation that you're feeling in the body, right? Really notice this within yourself, how the mind reacts versus how your body and your emotions are reacting. There may be a difference, right, between what you think about the statement versus how you feel about the statement within yourself. There can be a, big disconnect between the masculine energy of the mind versus the feminine energy of our emotions and the body, right? And being in authentic alignment has a lot to do with this alignment between these parts of our body, mind, heart, and soul. Now, I speak about old paradigms and structures that are not working, and we need to counter the hustle culture. And often when we look outside of ourselves, and we can see there are literal structures and ways of doing things that are not working in the school systems, in healthcare, large corporations, in politics, whatever the case, right? But we are not connecting within at our internal structures within ourselves that are not working, right? Many of us may know, right? Our outer reality is a direct reflection of our outer world, like our experience of how we perceive the outer world is also what is occurring within our inner world at some level, whether we are connected to it or not. And so, if we experience anger towards what's happening outside of ourselves, this anger is also within ourselves at some layer. And if you experience something that is not fair or unjust, and there is a part of ourselves that actually feels that way about what is happening for us, we will not like have this a strong charge within ourselves if it wasn't within our subconscious somewhere already. Otherwise, it wouldn't be stimulated, or not to the level or degree of charge that you experienced it in. So when we see that the system structures, organizations, or even our own family dynamics, right, are not working, our reaction and our experiences of what is not working outside of ourselves is also reflecting back into ourselves where old ways of doing and being are not working within ourselves. Everything in life is working for us if we know how to, work with it and how to navigate it. You know what I mean? And so these are the places that we not necessarily have processed through, or we consciously or unconsciously suppressed it. And it's coming up to be released and let go. And when we resist that, that's when, energy blocks are created, you know? And so it's a different way of looking at it. It's a new paradigm of shifting it within yourself to put you back into that place of power. There's honestly really a big difference between what we think about what we are experiencing, versus what we are allowing ourselves to feel about what we are experiencing. And this is what I see play out with many of my clients, right? I work with a lot of ex corporate leaders turned entrepreneurs, who have created a certain level of success, right? Using the old structures of the mind to think, to plan, to strategize, push, and take action, get things done. And they have created that certain level of success with those tools, with that structure, so to speak, but they're not necessarily feeling happy or fulfilled even after achieving that success, right? Or they are putting, all the hours in there, but they're feeling drained and exhausted, and this can't go on any longer, right? The internal structures I'm seeing again and again is this tendency to operate out of the mind versus learning to partner with the heart and the body. And this is one of my gifts, being able to see the energetic structures behind things, what is playing out, and to really get to some of the hidden blocks more efficiently. Yes, there are old structures and paradigms that are not working out there that we've been experiencing for a while. And there is also a change that is needed within all of us to stand in our internal authenticity, often with the emotions being the vehicle. Some of us may have been on the journey a while, and recognize, right, that wherever we are on our journey, we must match the level of impact we want to create on the outside with our level of self leadership, evolution, and reinvention on the inside at all the levels. We are constantly in evolution. And in fact, as we move towards 2027, our humanity will be diving into a big energetic shift that is happening throughout all of humanity, which I will speak about more in depth in the next few episodes. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe or follow my podcast so you don't miss that episode when it launches. I'll explain to you all the different shifts we are seeing in our business, in our society as a general, and we'll answer a lot of these questions that we may not even know to ask. And so stay tuned for that. And to carry on, the mistake many high achievers make is that they wait too long. I had a client I worked with who was in her 70s, and I worked with her one to one and also in my open to receive program. And she had done, well for herself. She was retired and she's doing a lot of philanthropy work. But she was not doing this from a place of peace and fulfillment and happiness within herself. She was still struggling with anxiety, overthinking, really doubting her decisions, right? And she felt this like disconnection with her purpose and struggled with just having time scarcity. And she felt like she needed to do more somehow. And she was uh, uh, investing in all these programs, And what happens when you've done all the things and you're still not experiencing happiness and fulfillment? Like she knew something was not right, She didn't know how to pinpoint the problem. And that's what I find a lot of people come to me when they're not really sure. They just kind of want to experience me and talk to me, but they're in this space of unsureness, uncertainty, feeling a bit of confusion within themselves, right? And when I was able to create a space of safety for her and really guide her deeper in her body and her emotions, she was really able to uncover these subconscious like protectors within herself that were really running the show and stopping her from actually, connecting and really loving herself. This allowed her to really deeply connect to her friends more so, being able to actually enjoy the beautiful garden she had, truly all the wealth she had essentially, created for herself. She was like previously she was doing the action, going through the motions of seeing her friends and doing the gardening and philanthropy work, but she wasn't actually letting in, the goodness of it, like the compliments, the gratitudes, like life. And she was finally able to reconnect with her purpose and feeling more aligned in the meaning of life for herself. Her anxiety dropped considerably, and she was, able to feel this peace and gratitude and happiness and this inner freedom in herself that she wasn't able to feel before. Now she was essentially able to connect and receive and let in all the things she created. And I'm really grateful that I was able to support her and not, maybe have to wait till she's 80 or anything like that, right? Like, but how many of us, right? Like we're waiting too long to really allow ourselves to let life in. And what is really important, and that what many people don't realize, is that to experience this inner happiness, freedom, fulfillment, right, without needing to achieve more, is actually what also opens us up to receive more abundance, ease, and flow towards our goals and our impact. The very like act of allowing ourselves to feel more, self-love, fulfillment, freedom, and inner abundance in the process of doing is actually what opens us up energetically, opens up the door for us to receive more of what we say we want. And the true block really comes down to the fear of the unknown around being with our emotions, or the fear of the pain of being in our emotions. You know what I mean? Like the answer is all pointing back to ourselves in many ways, right? They say in business and life, we don't make changes unless we are in some sort of pain or challenge, and like until we want to get out of the pain. And I'm calling in leaders to really rise into their next level of authentic self leadership by choosing to move towards the pain instead. Like who want to, I'm calling in leaders that want to be the best, version of themselves and to express their authentic gifts and genius to create impact in the world in the way they're meant to. And so this is why my intention of creating this podcast aligned to my soul's mission and what I believe is really needed out in the world. And so let's end with this. Like, what if we live life joyful, happy now without needing to achieve more? And then taking action from that place, that state of being, and not taking action from I need to. Instead, we live from a place of trust and faith and surrender, in a place of receiving that allows you to really allow that flow and ease to come flow to you, where you get to experience emotional abundance first. When we learn to raise ourselves up in this new paradigm of thinking and being, and to turn this around in our own lives, we start to shift those around us. We become that authentic leader that, energetically we start to shift our team members, our family members, and, the world. It depends, on your intention and the impact you are, your heart is called to, right? This, I believe, is stepping into our authentic, energetic self leadership to learn how to lead our authenticity, being truthful with ourselves and real to ourselves and where our emotions are at, to learn to lead our energy and emotions and lead the impact and the difference we are meant to make. And so, thank you so much for listening today, for tuning in. If you want to propel your authentic self leadership, forward, I invite you to click on the link below in the show notes to receive your step by step 5-part face analysis series to really see yourself and to awaken this inner and outer peace within your authenticity, to start leading from that place and start to really empower and elevate your authentic self leadership of your business and life. And if you're in a place where you want a more personalized and customized experience, please reach out to book a one-to-one face analysis inner awakening experience with myself to really uncover these hidden blocks, to experience more happiness and fulfillment and flow within yourself, to really start that journey. I hope this new paradigm of thinking landed in your mind, your heart, and your body, and your soul today. Thank you again for listening and spending your precious time with me. Much love. Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review so others can find the life-changing content that we're sharing here. We are starting our movement on our way to number 1, and we need your help to get there. If you'd like to connect with other high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders who are also on their authentic, energetic leadership journey, join our free Facebook community, Energetically Aligned Leaders. Go to pathtotheheart.com/links to join the Facebook group, book your personalized face analysis experience, or to access our resources.